Hey, my name is GoBlue27, and today I'm going to be showing you the Slush Wave plugin Transcendence made by Ember DSP. Now, before I start, I must heavily emphasize that this copy was provided to me for free. If you want to try Transcendence for yourself, you can try a demo version at the link on the pinned comment or in the description below. And if you like using Transcendence and have $70 laying around, you can most certainly buy it for yourself. Now, what is Transcendence, you might ask? Well, Transcendence is basically the Slushin plugin, a plugin that was made for Vaporwave. If you have no idea what Slushwave is, let me give you a brief explanation. Pretty much, Slushwave is a Vaporwave genre that uses heavily layered effects such as reverb, delay, and phaser. Now, Transcendence has two modes, Garden of Eden and Okinawa Sunset. The one I'm currently in is Okinawa Sunset, so let's switch to Garden of Eden and showcase that first. To switch, either press the eject button or Okinawa Sunset. Once you press one of these, a disc will appear on the left-hand side. So let's switch to Garden of Eden. Now we're in Garden of Eden, let me preview the sample I'm going to use. The sample I have right here is Clams Casino's I'm God, a really lovely track that we're going to use for this preview. Now, let me stretch the sample and turn on the plugin. Now that we have the sample stretch, let's hear the sample with Transcendence on. Pretty good stuff. So hold on. Now let's go over what all these buttons and knobs are. Starting with the environment knobs right here. Changing the knobs here will change the environment on the scene as you turn the knobs, like this. So now let's go over these knobs. First up, we have Dream State. Dream State pretty much just changes the strength of the reverb and the phaser. So like this. It pretty much gives a variety with the reverb and phaser. So next is Deep Love. Deep Love is pretty much a more basic control. This knob is more if you want to make the low frequencies more prominent, like this. Now, finally, we have Beauty. Now, Beauty is just pretty much just a reverb modulation, giving more complexion on your track. Now, let's switch back to Okinawa Sunset again, as these environment knobs right here change as well. Now that we have Okinawa set, let's go back to the first knob. First, we have etherealness. Pretty much, it makes the reverb have a lot of space while also controlling the high frequency of your track. Now we have energy. Energy is pretty much just a compression, pretty much, giving the sample a much more punchy sound when you turn the knob, like this. Now, we're almost done here. Let's move on to the delay control. The delay control is just like your average delay plugin. You have your delay patterns, those being the simple pattern, the tube tap pattern, early pattern, and the ping pong pattern. Then you have your knobs here, the delay time, the delay spread, the delay degrade, and the delay level, which pretty much just changes the wake signal of the delay, pretty much. Then we have the barber pole phaser. What the hell is a barber pole phaser, you may ask? Well, pretty much it's a psychoacoustic effect that pretty much changes the spectrum of a sound, moving it up and down constantly. Now, you can either changes like starting point, either up or down, like this. Now, finally, we have these two, the trim and the compressor. Pretty much, the comp is just, just your regular compressor and stuff. Whoop whoop. And the trim here, what pretty much does is that it trims the volume of the wet signal pretty much, so that the wet signal doesn't sound like way too loud or stuff like this. Yeah. So now that we went over the plugin, I'm going to make a track. So I will be right back. Now that I'm done with the track, I have some final thoughts. So, pretty much that this plugin is really amazing. Everything, having having all the reverb, the phaser, delay, ain't usually what goes with slush wave. But the problem is that since that there's so many effects that are going to this, once exporting takes a really long time to export. So because if you have like say I don't know a 20-minute track, it will take exactly like probably like 5 or 7 minutes. But this is exactly expected, as I have talked with the Ember DSP team, and they did say that unfortunately it does take a long while for the for your export to export and stuff. So yeah, but pretty much that's all for now. So I'll preview the track and yeah, that's all for now. Peace.